Hello, my name is Dr. Bethany Robertson, and I am the Practice Strategies Director for the QSEN Institute. I'm excited to share the launch of the Practice Strategy submission process, and I am pleased you've chosen to submit a strategy. This process was developed by a work group comprised of practice-based professionals who took the existing submission process for teaching strategies and refined it to meet the needs of practice. The Nursing Alliance for Quality Care, managed by ANA, has been an active partner in developing the practice strategy submission process as they support the vision of creating a peer-reviewed repository of practice-based exemplars. There is a two-part webinar created to help you understand the submission process. Part 1 outlines the submission process in detail, and Part 2 demonstrates a real strategy going through the submission process. The goal of this webinar, which is Part 1, is to help you understand how to approach publishing a strategy on the website and hopefully help you begin the initial steps of submitting your practice strategy. This pathway shows you the journey a practice strategy takes once it is submitted on the website. An author reads the strategy submission guidelines and the submission form for a detailed list of the criteria that is needed for submission. We highly encourage you to download the submission guidelines and read them thoroughly prior to beginning the submission process. Once you've submitted your strategy, it will go to the practice strategy coordinator through the submission form. The coordinator will assign the strategy to 2 external reviewers who will review the strategy, provide comments, feedback, and a determination of next steps. It is our goal that this is completed within 2 weeks. Once that review has been complete, it will go to the Director of Practice Strategy, who will review the comments made by the reviewers, synthesize the comments, and be in contact with the author. If substantial revisions are needed, it may necessitate the Director of Practice Strategies having a meeting with the author in order to outline what is necessary for the strategy to meet criteria for publication. Once the reviewer's comments and the Director of Practice Strategies comments are compiled, it will be sent to the author to act on the revisions. The revision will then be sent back to the Director of Practice Strategy to ensure all necessary revisions have been made. Once that has been completed, the coordinator will notify the author of the timeline for publication and ask the author to sign the permission form in order to publish the strategy on the QSEN Institute website. The QSEN Institute website has changed substantially. I invite you to noodle around on the website, but you can see once you go to the main page, there is a tab for practice. That is the tab that you click. Once you click that, you will be carried to this page that is a teaching and practice strategy jointly populated page for submission guidelines, the submission form, and in a future state, an ability to search practice strategies that have been published. This is a joint site. As you can see, there's the director for the teaching strategies and the coordinator, the director for the practice strategy and the coordinator. And you can see there are teaching strategy author guidelines and practice strategy author guidelines. It's highly encouraged that you download these prior to beginning the submission process to fully understand what is required of the submission. Once you begin the submission process, you will be asked essential information like your name, credentials, etc. You will also be asked how the practice strategy aligns to which competency domain of the QSEN competencies. In addition, to acknowledge the unique practice attributes, there will be specialty areas that you can further articulate the uniqueness of your strategy. So for instance, if your strategy happens to be a job description that was created using the QSEN competency domains as a framework, you might click the box next to other. If, for instance, you have a strategy that is focused on a performance improvement project in women's health, you may click the box next to obstetrics and women's health. This helps us to further refine and select appropriate reviewers for your strategy. Here's an example of the author guidelines. Again, it will help you understand the process, but also the pieces of information you will need to help fully articulate your strategy. Again, we're excited that you have chosen to submit your strategy through the practice strategy submission process of the QSEN Institute. If you have any questions about the process, please email me or Ashley Batters, who is the coordinator for practice strategies. This concludes part 1.